Part 36. The Age of Rebirth, the fake daughter relies on cultivation to become bigger and stronger. Author, Laughing Charm. Chapter 351. Chapter 351, 351, Pushing the Limits. The woman was finally speechless and shut up due to Shen Xing's harsh tone. Looking at a group of people, they saw a group of brats who were still young, and sure enough, they didn't even look at them at all. Of course, the woman could only complain in her heart. Shen Yun didn't have the time to care about the bickering among the people behind her. She was paying attention to the situation around her. The surrounding trees are very dense, and the evil energy passes through the trees. You can't find it unless you are careful. The more I walked inside, the more I realized that this aura was not as simple as I thought. In just a few days, some magic grass appeared in the forest. Although it looked inconspicuous, it contained a certain amount of magic energy. Will absorb and release demonic energy just like spiritual plants absorb and release spiritual energy. The way each one swayed in the wind was like a living source of evil energy in Shen Yun's eyes. Small flames flew along Chen Yun's fingers towards the magic grass underneath, and each one withered immediately. "Sister, what kind of grass is that?" Shen Jian asked curiously when he saw Shen Yun's movements. "It's a kind of magic grass. It's not a good thing. If you see it, just burn it with fire," Shen Yun explained. Okay, Shen Jian nodded and told the few people behind him about this matter. Despite the presence of demonic energy and the appearance of magic grass, the group of people were really fast and soon saw the group of people in front of them. At this time, several people were suppressing two crazy people. Looking at the school uniforms of this group of people and the badges worn by several others, it was a coincidence. They met students from the school, and the other few were the ones I saw before. Supervisor. One of the people who will go crazy is a supervisor, and the other is a student. The supervisor is stronger, and of course he is also very powerful when he goes crazy. Shen Yun went directly over and trapped the two people with a net. "How is it? Everyone is okay?" Principal Shen, someone who knew Shen Yun, shouted in shock when he saw him. Hearing the students shouting like this, the supervisors also looked over. They were originally thinking of asking someone to help, but they didn't know that the person who came over was the senior supervisor, or he could be changed to the deputy director now. After all, the supervisor is also a department now. "Minister Shen, it would be great if you came," everyone said happily. Shen Yun didn't bother to ask when he got another title. Instead, he walked quickly to a student and directly blocked the attacking hand from behind her. This student probably didn't pay attention just now and was accidentally invaded by the demonic energy. If you get infected, this will start to happen. The girl realized that there was danger behind her. If it weren't for Shen Yun, she would have been directly attacked. The girl couldn't help crying, "Teacher Shen, what's going on? We were walking forward fine, why did they suddenly become like this? If there weren't many of us and we controlled them immediately, it's hurt," the girl said while crying. "This situation is beyond my expectation. I have informed others now, but now you can only follow me. It is also very dangerous for people from outside to come in now. People outside are currently preparing elixirs. Don't be afraid. I believe that the students majoring in alchemy in our school, and I have also notified the Shen family alchemy workshop, everyone will be fine," Shen Yun said reassuringly. "These students are all the first batch, and they are all carefully selected talents. Some people have really never experienced anything. After starting to practice, they are treated as treasures by their families. It is inevitable that they will panic when encountering something. Teacher, we believe in you." A group of students seemed to have found a backbone and looked directly at Shen Yun with trust. "Then let's take a look at the conditions of these people first." Chu Jing comes over and uses the needle, just like the person just now. Shen Yun directly called Chu Jing from behind. He immediately came over with a needle bag and put 3 people on the ground. After a while, there were 3 more unconscious people on the ground. Each party carries its own people on its back and we continue to move forward. There are still many people here. Shen Yun explained the personnel of both parties. There were no ink marks on the people on both sides. The people who came directly picked up the 3 lying people on their backs. They were all cultivators, so there was no big problem in carrying one person on his back. Shen Yun plans to gather the people in the Ling Chi I half and send them out, and then go to the other side to find people. Otherwise, as more and more people gather together, I may not be able to protect them. People who come to the Aura I do not necessarily go together. Shen Yun and the others also meet a few people who have nothing to do. Of course, they also meet one of the group of people who is more crazy. When Shen Yun and the others arrive, by the time, several people had died. And the crazy man was already red-eyed. When he saw Shen Yun and the others approaching, he immediately attacked and was directly with a net by Shen Yun. Teacher, he killed someone. Although the students had been practicing for a long time, this was the first time they had seen such a scene. Some of them vomited on the spot. Shen Yun thought that some of his family members would not be able to bear it. Yes, who knew that several people persisted and even went over with the supervisor to help treat the wounded. This was the only gratifying thing in Shen Yun's heart. The supervisor will decide his outcome according to the cultivator regulations. As for what we want to see now is the condition of the injured. Shen Yun did not do anything to the person under control. Instead, he called Chu Jing over as before. Place the needle. I really don't know what value a person like this has in treating him. This is murder. Killing requires a life. Even cultivators are no exception. Do we need someone to carry him out? I think it's better to deal with it on the spot. The silent woman seemed to have finally had enough of the constant rush, and complained unhappily. There were actually a few people in the crowd who seemed to agree with her words. Who do you think you are? You are just fine now, that's why you say this. If you yourself have such a time when you can't help yourself, then you definitely want to die more than anyone else. What will be his ending? Of course there is a law. It's not your words that determine someone else's fate. I've already said it, and I don't want you to save people. What are you saying next to me? Isn't it just to go a little further? A cultivator can't even walk this little way. No, it's really a joke. The female student just now has turned into a loyal fan of Shen Yun. Now she saw that Shen Yun was busy, so she immediately attacked him. I have long been disgusted with this man. He has been squeezing in among their students, taking advantage of the thin-skinnedness of some of them, so he keeps pushing the envelope. It is really a shame to these women. It's none of your business what I say. Dogs and mice are nosy. Are you the supervisor? I just made a suggestion for everyone's benefit. What's wrong with me? The woman raised her bright face and said unconvincedly. Time has become a bit competitive. If you keep making blind suggestions, I'll let you try how good your suggestions are. You guys have controlled the people. Didn't you see that your eyes are red? Shen Yun turned around and said. End of this chapter. The Age of Rebirth, the fake daughter relies on cultivation to become bigger and stronger. Author, Laughing Charm. Chapter 352. Chapter 352, 352, Going into Battle. The people next to the woman immediately looked at her in panic, but found that the other person's eyes were not red, and then realized that Shen Yun was mocking her. Can you say a few words less? We don't know what's going on here. If you left alone, you would have been torn apart by those monsters just now. How can you speak now? You can talk like this. After the fight just now, why didn't I see you when I came to help? I didn't want to hide, but this person didn't let you carry him on his back. If you have any objections, please hold back. The people next to me couldn't stand it either. Except for a few students, most people here are out to make a living. Now is a dangerous moment. Who is weak is not the right one. Everyone hopes that the people around them will be stronger. You. Okay, you can take this murderer with you if you want. I won't help anyway. The woman turned her face and no longer looked at Shen Yun and the others. It's the same as what you have done to help me before, the girl said disdainfully. The situation here is quite tragic. Among the 4 people in the group, except for the one who was infected by the demonic energy, the other 3 are dead. In addition, there are monsters around, so the situation at the scene can be imagined. Shen Yun and several people supervised the gathering of the deceased, buried them on the spot, and marked them. Okay, let's go. Let's go out first, send the wounded back, and then search for others on the other side. Shen Yun greeted the people behind him. Finally we can go out. The people behind were very happy when they heard Shen Yun say this. This time, Shen Yun didn't let Shen Yun say hello and just followed him. Because the formation was closed, Shen Yun had no way to send messages to people outside. He could only wait until he got out of the formation and then find someone to come over to help him. As he walked outside, he met a few people, probably because they were closer to the outside. Nothing happened at this moment. Seeing Shen Yun and the others injured and dizzy, I was a little curious about what happened to Shen Yun and the others. When people here said that there was demonic energy inside, which was an unknown danger, several people did not dare to leave on their own, but they were also afraid that someone among Shen Yun and the others would be infected by the demonic energy, so they did not dare to approach. As they were chasing after him, the crowd was too large, and several supervisors could only spread out to protect these people. Shen Jian also picked up the one who was eroded by the demonic energy. Slowly walking to the edge of the formation, I saw some people waiting here, and others attacking the formation. Stop your hands, Shen Yun said quickly. When he set up the formation base, he did not expect to encounter such a large-scale change in demonic energy this time. This time the formation has expanded its scope and used it so extreme. If a few more people attack, I don't know how long the formation can last. Maybe it could have lasted for a month, but it was barely enough after the attack for half a month. Who are you? Why do you want us to stop? An invisible barrier has appeared here. We are all trapped here. You still ask us to stop. Who are you? The person opposite seems to have been delayed here. After a long time, I heard Shen Yun say this and immediately became impatient. Shen Yun looked at his red eyes, coupled with the demonic energy leaking from Shen Yun. Without any delay, he went over and knocked the man down. With this move, the people waiting here suddenly became anxious, and they all made attack gestures. Don't act rashly. We are all supervisors. This person has been infected by demonic energy. If we don't control him, he will attack not the barrier but you. We are not trying to hurt him, but to attack him. Save him. The supervisor who was following behind saw Shen Yun's movement and came out to explain. Look at the situation of the people who have fainted here. Their eyes are red. There is still hope. If they lose their minds completely, if it is, then it may not be possible to save him. As soon as he said this, some people on the opposite side believed it. The person who attacked the barrier usually had a gentle personality and would never do such a thing, but today they discovered that he was inexplicably irritable, and he said things he had never said before, today. At this moment, everyone is resting, but he keeps attacking the barrier. Something seems wrong. It turns out that he is infected by some kind of evil spirit. Several people suddenly felt frightened and all of them withdrew their hands. Then do you have a way to get out? We have been stuck here for most of the day. If we don't get out, we won't have anything to eat. Don't worry, I'll let you out in a minute. Shen Yun glanced outside. Coincidentally, there might be someone inside, and the people supporting him from outside were already here. What is being said outside? Although you can't hear the sound, you can see the shape of the other person's mouth. The isolation area has been set up according to Chen Yun's instructions. The elixir is also being refined. The spiritual plants prepared in each spiritual plant cultivation base are guaranteed to be sufficient. Seeing the people outside saying this, Shen Yun nodded confidently toward the outside. Since they were ready, these people were not afraid of any risks when they went out. Made a gesture with the people outside, and watching the people outside quickly approaching, Shen Yun directly activated the formation and opened a gap in this place. Hurry, one by one, the wounded first. Shen Yun supported the formation and called to those who were still stunned. Okay, the one who was close didn't care whether he was a wounded person or not, and rushed directly towards the place pointed by Shen Yun. He saw the first person going out. He had just been blocked by the barrier here for a long time, and he still had doubts in his heart. People immediately felt relieved, regardless of whether they were injured or not. Now they knew there was danger inside, and who didn't want to be the first to squeeze out. Qingfeng Chen Yun shouted, and a sword appeared directly from Chen Yun's body. With a sharp sword wind, he rushed towards the people who were squeezing towards the gap. Suddenly, the people over there didn't care about squeezing anymore and hugged him. His head started to dodge the sword. I told the wounded to go out first and the rest to line up. If I see anyone pushing to the front, don't blame me for being rude, Shen Yun said sternly. Looking at the flying swords flying in the air, no one dared to squeeze anymore. They all formed a line and walked forward obediently. They didn't even dare to complain. After all, King Feng's impact just now was avoided by others. But 5 trees nearby were knocked down easily. Although they were cultivators, they had not yet reached the state of invulnerability. After all the wounded and those carrying people had walked out, the people behind quickly walked outside. The few people brought over by Shen Yun saw that Shen Yun was still here and stood there for a while without wanting to move. Except for Chu Jing, all of you are going out. Zhang Ji and you too are going out to help refine the elixir. Shen Jian, you stay here and I will still keep an eye on you. Hurry up and stop the ink stains, Shen Yun said urgently. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Age of Rebirth, the fake daughter relies on cultivation to become bigger and stronger. Author, Laughing Charm. Chapter 353. Chapter 353, 353, Why are everyone so noisy? Sister, I can help you here. At least Shen Xing was a little unhappy. He was the most cultivated among several people and didn't want to go out at this moment. Don't ask me to say it a second time. Professional people will come to help in a while. You go out and follow the arrangements, Shen Yun said, looking at the disobedient children. Sister, let's go out. You have to pay attention to safety inside. I will keep an eye on them when I go out. Nothing will happen. Shen Jian directly grabbed Shen Xing. With so many people staying inside, it would be more dangerous for my sister to be distracted from taking care of her. It would be better to go outside and see if there is anything that can help. I didn't see such a powerful Jin Long obediently staying outside. My sister did this. There must be a reason. Seeing Shen Jian take several people out, Shen Yun breathed a sigh of relief. Seeing 5 more people coming in, Shen Yun directly closed the formation. The 5 people who came in included supervisors and people from special departments. Coincidentally, several of them were acquaintances. Master Shen, I haven't seen you for a long time. I didn't expect to meet here this time. The young Taoist Wang Jing still called Shen Yun according to his previous habit. Long time no see. We are all acquaintances. This is Chu Jing, a medical cultivator. Next we have to take the people here out smoothly. There was no difficulty before, but now there is a little more devilish energy inside. A few of them, they all have golden spiritual roots. If we encounter demonic energy, we will use thunder and lightning to attack. I wonder if everyone knows the thunder spell before going in. Shen Yun first wanted to know everyone's basic situation. I know how to do it, I just figured it out myself, Zhou Yu said. Okay, you guys can't do it, right? Then I will teach you something. Before you go in, you can memorize it quickly. Shen Yun looked at several people and said. He quickly talked about the secrets of lightning magic, and demonstrated the technique of casting the spell with his hands. They are all smart people, and they often go on missions together. They are not slow to learn things, and they can emit simple lightning in a short time. With this matter completed, they walked directly to the other side of the Aura Eye. On the way, while Shen Yun was talking to them about the situation and precautions inside, he did not forget to spread his consciousness to see if there was anyone around. Fortunately, Shen Yun and the others had searched more thoroughly just now, and no one was walking this way. They walked to the opposite direction, but still saw no one. It seems there are not as many people here as we expected, Wang Jing said optimistically. I hope that's the case. Shen Yun was not so optimistic. When she set up the formation, she could see many people with the naked eye. It has been more than half a day, and who knows how many people inside have been invaded by demonic energy. Died. A few people walked along, burning the magic grass they saw along the way. After walking for more than an hour, they finally saw a person. He was covered in blood, and although he still had breath, he looked like he was about to leave at any moment. If he hadn't met Shen Yun and the others in this situation, he would have either confessed immediately or attracted the monster. Without letting Shen Yun say anything, Chu Jing hurried over to save people. How is the situation? Several people gathered around to protect the Dharma and asked. I just gave him medicine and an injection. He lost too much blood, suffered serious internal injuries, and had multiple fractures on his body. Whether he can wake up depends on his life. Chu Jing put away his needle bag and said, check out the situation. What should I do? I can't take it with me in this situation. I guess it won't be able to withstand the torment. A few people nearby were also a little worried. Go directly to the teleportation array and teleport out. Shen Yun suddenly thought about why this convenient method was useless. In fact, the best way is to use the teleportation talisman, but that talisman is too difficult to draw. Shen Yun's current cultivation level is basically can't draw it. Then use the one-way teleportation array to save spiritual energy. Several people hit it off immediately. This formation has been discovered a long time ago. Everyone in the special department has learned it. Shen Yun doesn't even need to do anything to make the formation. Shen Yun doesn't even need to provide the tools now. The formation was completed within a short time. The person directly supported the formation and disappeared in an instant. Okay, the news has been spread. I hope it won't scare the people outside. Let's move forward quickly. Wang Jing clapped his hands and said. Walk. A few people continued to walk forward, their spiritual consciousness spreading horizontally, and almost no one would be missed wherever they went. Hurry, someone in front has a problem. Shen Yun and a few others simply flew with their swords, which would make them faster. When they arrived at the place, they saw dozens of people fighting together. The two who were infected by the demonic energy had not gone crazy yet, but the other people who were fine started to go crazy. By now, a melee had broken out. When Shen Yun and the others arrived, they were fighting hard. It's hard to tell. Although Shen Yun and the others were a little confused about the current situation, they still had their own responsibilities and separated them without hesitation. Before both parties could yell, they showed their ids and blocked the other party's words. I don't want to know what's going on with you right now. You're fighting, and you're in such a dangerous place. It looks like you're dying. The sea of people infected by the real demonic energy is fine. You're using this to cause trouble. Right. Let's wait until we get out to settle this matter. Is it because the cultivators haven't learned the regulations clearly? One of the supervisors, Peng Chang, obviously dealt with this kind of thing often. As soon as he separated the people, his face turned fierce, and the people who were fighting passionately just now became honest now. No, they said that our brother is sick and needs to be treated. Can we be happy with this? Wouldn't this lead to a fight? One of the people explained. Originally, your brother's eyes are red when he looks like that. He can't beat a person with half a stick, but now he wants to provoke everyone he sees. Isn't he infected by the evil spirit that the woman above just said? What else could it be? People say they want to control people, but you are stopping us. How can you be so safe? If there are casualties, can you bear the responsibility? The people on the other side were not to be outdone, and they started fighting. It is reasonable. My red eyes are because I didn't sleep well last night. What does it have to do with that evil spirit? The person opposite was still not convinced. Anyway, no one could do anything to his brothers. Shut up, everyone. Shen Yun was going to be noisy to death by this group of men. Why were they all so noisy? Chu Jing, let's go and have a look at those two people. Others should be on guard. There is more demonic energy here. Be careful of yourselves. After Chen Yun finished explaining, he protected Chu Jing and moved toward the two people who were contaminated with demonic energy. Go. I don't know if the outer area is blocked by my own, but the overflowing demonic energy is gathering more and more in this space. Shen Yun and the others didn't feel it so obviously when they were flying in the sky, but now they feel that the demonic energy is obviously stronger than before. It was much stronger just now. With so many people fighting, these two people were obviously the ones who got hit. The others were really lucky. End of this chapter. The Age of Rebirth, the fake daughter relies on cultivation to become bigger and stronger. Author, Laughing Charm. Chapter 354. Chapter 354, 354, inexplicably looks like a rabbit. How is it? Shen Yun looked at Chu Jing. The situation is not too serious. I haven't lost consciousness yet. I'm lucky in the past day, Chu Jing has taken over several cases. Now he has some experience. He adjusted the needle slightly and pierced the person directly. This time no one fainted. Is that enough? We have it under control for the time being, but if we don't take the elixir quickly, the evil spirit will still invade the body. His symptoms were relatively mild, and I adjusted the position of the needle, so of course he didn't faint. Chu Jing said confidently. Obviously, he knew nothing about his own evil in medical skills. In this day's work, he not only mastered the control, but also learned to change the method. Shen Yun couldn't help but praise his talent in this area. Yes, it seems that your medical skills have improved recently. When I go back, I will send an invitation to your grandfather to see if he is willing to come and live in our valley. This will not delay your study, Shen Yun said proactively. Then I would like to thank Master first. Chu Jing was extremely happy when he heard Shen Yun say this. He had grown up with his grandfather since he was a child, and of course he had been thinking about it when he came out to study. When he heard Shen Yun say this, his hands and feet became even faster. And soon the person next to him was also taken care of. My brother is really infected by that evil spirit. He just held his breath as he watched Chu Jing pricking people with a needle. Only when the needle was withdrawn did the people next to him dare to speak. It is indeed infected. Chu Jing nodded. It seems that we misunderstood you. I'm sorry, brother. This person realized that they had really made a big mistake just now. If the supervisors hadn't arrived quickly, they would have been fighting. These two brothers suddenly going crazy, the two people watching them would suffer. When they were on their way, they had seen people in crazy states. With this apology, the person opposite waved his hand, and the matter was considered over for the day. While they were reconciling and apologizing to each other here, Shen Yun and the others had already begun to set up a formation. There were more people this time. Although it cost a little more spiritual stones, they still had to send people out. It was not safe for everyone to take these people with them. After the formation was completed, Shen Yun directly called for people to take the wounded to stand on top of the formation. This is a teleportation formation. You will be teleported directly outside in a while. Accept the arrangements of people outside. Don't make trouble. There will be dedicated people come and check if there is anything wrong with your body. Okay, promise not to make trouble. A group of people should be loud. If you think about it, you know what is going on outside, so who dares to make trouble? By the way, when we just came from the east, we saw someone going crazy and quite strong. We didn't dare to meddle in other people's business, so we just came over. We don't know what the situation is. You guys should go and take a look. When Shen Yun activated the teleportation array, the person inside said something else. Then there was a flash of light, and the person inside disappeared directly. This man is really a man. He didn't know how to speak earlier. He had to wait until the moment he was about to leave. I didn't even hear him. Did you hear it clearly? Wang Jing turned around and asked a few people next to him. Listen clearly, Yujian, follow me. Shen Yun summoned Qing Feng directly and waited for the others next to him to take out their flying swords. The group of people stopped walking on the ground. As for the magic grass, we can deal with it when we have time. It's more important to send the people inside out first. I don't know when I saw it in the east direction, but fortunately the speed of the sword was very fast. After a while, I saw a man slashing in front with a sword, followed by several people who did not dare to get too close. She's pregnant, it's Sule. He recently took a vacation and said he wanted to go out for a walk, but he didn't know he was here. This situation must have been infected by the devil. Wang Jing on the side exclaimed. Shen Yun also noticed the situation over there, accelerated his speed, and approached directly before everyone fell down. Don't come close. He has demonic energy in his body and he won't let him come near. The group of people following behind saw Shen Yun approaching and shouted boldly. It's okay, don't come over here. We are friends, Shen Yun said calmly and approached Sule directly. We haven't seen him for a while. This man has reached the foundation building perfection. He probably wanted to find him when he came out. Looking for an opportunity to advance, who would have encountered such a situation? Shen Yun directly stopped the man who was walking forward crazily and still swinging his sword. Knock me out. Sule was still struggling after being controlled. His red eyes regained consciousness in an instant. He glanced at Shen Yun and demanded immediately. Don't worry, it's okay. We'll have several people here, so you'll be fine. After Shen Yun finished speaking, he fulfilled his request. Looking at his mouth and the heavily chopped sword, I guess he had been holding on for a long time before he came over. Although he had basically lost his mind, he still knew how to control himself and not do any harm. People. How is he doing? Several people had basically seen him, and they all gathered around him. The situation is not very good, let Chu Jing take a look. Shen Yun moved out of the way to facilitate Chu Jing's treatment. During this period of time, he should continue to use spiritual energy to suppress the demonic energy. At this time, the spiritual energy in the body is pitifully small, and it looks more serious. However, because of the suppression of spiritual energy, the situation is not so bad that it cannot be saved, Chu Jing elaborated. He felt his pulse and said slowly. However, even if his condition is improved, he still needs to cultivate himself. His spiritual energy has been overused and his dantian has been exhausted. If he doesn't cultivate for 3 or 2 years, he probably won't be completely healed, Chu Jing continued. This is all about the future. As long as the person is fine, it will be fine. You can give the injection first. If the person is not dead, there is hope for everything. If he really turns into a demon, the exorcism pill will be useless. Shen Yun really didn't know what people would be like by then. He was reading the classics in the space, and he didn't mention it in his inherited memories. It was estimated that all the people who had been contaminated by the demonic energy in the past were dead. Kyujing gave him medicine and a few more injections. He was still unconscious, but no change could be seen. "Hey, how is that man, is he okay?" The people behind saw that there was no movement here and quietly came over. "It's okay for now, but you may have something to do." Kyujing turned around and saw several people looking this way with red eyes. "What can happen to us? We are not injured." Several people looked at each other and then realized that at some point, each other's eyes had turned red. They were so frightened that the four of them scattered in four directions. "Don't move!" Seeing several people turning around and trying to run away, Peng Chang shouted directly, and several people went over and surrounded them in a tacit understanding. "We have nothing to do. Don't knock us out or arrest us." The other party was obviously afraid of receiving the same treatment as Sule, so they all looked at Shen Yun and the others with red eyes. A few grown men looked inexplicably like rabbits. End of this chapter. The Age of Rebirth. The fake daughter relies on cultivation to become bigger and stronger. Author, Laughing Charm. Chapter 355. Chapter 355, 355, Seal. "Stand still, who said I'm going to arrest you? I just want to see how you are doing. Famous doctors are free. Come here quickly. Don't let us rush over one by one," Peng Chang said in a rough voice, accompanied by the words of a few people next to him. It's really a bit of a deterrent for people who are not tall but also big. Thinking again about the way several people came over with flying swords just now, they all lined up and walked towards Kyujing. As a result, each person received a few injections, but it was really nothing. "I will teleport you out. Don't run away once you get out. You have demonic energy in your body. If you run away, you will die. We are organizing people to refine the exorcism pill. Once it is refined, one person will give you one to eat. Well, if you run away, your life will be in doubt." Considering that these people have criminal records and have been in the teleportation array, Shen Yun did not forget to explain. Okay, I won't run away." Several people supported Sule and said obediently. A flash of light flashed, and several people disappeared again. Shen Yun and the others packed up the spiritual stones that still had some energy and set out on the road again. Just a few of them, walking without anyone else, were much faster than when Shen Yun and the others were walking with a bunch of people. The trouble is that there is no way to deal with the magic grass in the ground. After everyone has gone out, this place still needs to be dealt with. Next, we encountered several groups, large and small, some of which were infected by the evil spirit, and some of which were lucky enough to escape. Anyway, after everyone had gone out, Shen Yun and the others did some calculations. They saw a total of 7 people dead. Some died at the hands of crazy people, and of course some died at the mouth of monsters infected by demonic energy. In order to confirm whether anyone was left behind, several people took the risk and flew a few more times on it. "Everyone has gone out, what should we do now?" Several people looked at Shen Yun. Shen Yun had the highest cultivation level among them. They all followed Shen Yun's arrangements. Shen Yun looked at the magic grass all over the ground, and then looked at the position of the spiritual energy eye in the middle. Shouldn't this be called the spiritual energy eye? It had turned into a demonic energy eye, with wisps of demonic energy emerging from it. Chi, making the demonic energy in this world become more and more intense. "You guys go out first, and I'll go over there to take a look first. If the situation is not right, I will directly seal the spiritual energy eye." Shen Yun glanced at the people around him. The one with the best cultivation level was the Foundation Establishment Dzogchen Perfection. Although they are also a group of combatants, but demonic energy is invisible. It does not mean that it will not infect you if you have a high level of cultivation. At most, it can be said that the chance of evasion is higher. If you encounter something that is really difficult, you can still hide in the space. There are too many people inside, and it would be more dangerous for me to distract myself, so I'd better let these people out. "Master, Let me follow you, I can still help if anything happens. Chu Jing disagreed. We'll stay too. Several other people disagreed with Shen Yun's decision. If something happens to me by then, do you think you can still help? Shen Yun asked calmly as he looked at several people holding their necks as if they couldn't get out. It's better to have more people than less people, Wang Jing said hesitantly. When there are a lot of people running around, I still have to take care of you. Okay, don't say anything anymore. Just go out when you are told. There is so much nonsense. Obey the order and hurry up. There happens to be a teleportation array we set up below. Shen. After Yun finished speaking, he directly suppressed these people with spiritual energy and fell to the ground. He set up the teleportation array and said, "Let's go." You really won't let us stay if something happens, we can't explain it, Zhou Yu and Shen Yunjuan wrote. Okay, I don't need you to explain anything. You go out and take good care of my little apprentice. I have my life card at home, and nothing will happen. After Shen Yun finished speaking, he didn't give them a chance to talk anymore, and directly the person was dragged into the teleportation array and sent out. Shen Yun was the only one left in the entire formation, so it was quite quiet. Looking at the demonic energy flowing freely in the air and the demonic grass growing better and better on the ground, Shen Yun flew his sword directly towards the spiritual eye of the center. When he was about to get close, Chen Yun had to come down. The demonic energy here was the strongest. The defensive magic weapon on Chen Yun's body was always on, and the Qingfeng was also attached with lightning, leaving traces wherever it passed. There was a burning smell, and then it was quickly filled with black and red gas. Shen Yun felt like there was a layer of fog around him, and he couldn't see clearly. But her consciousness was not affected. The magic grass here grew much larger than in other places. Shen Yun noticed that the ones here were all as tall as a person, and the types were different. Seeing several of them, Chen Yun suddenly thought that some of these magic grasses were also a kind of medicine. Shen Yun remembered that the books collected by the space ancestors had several records about magic grasses and medicines. At that time, he looked through them out of curiosity. I didn't expect to see the magic grass in the book here today. Although such things are rare to see, if this is the time to do this, Shen Yun will not take the risk of bringing such things outside or into space. After all, spiritual plants will have spiritual energy attached to them after they are picked. That magic grass, it's definitely the same situation. Carefully isolating the demonic energy approaching him, Shen Yun continued to walk inside. If it weren't for the ancestor's defensive magic weapon on his body, Shen Yun would have been unable to move forward. These demonic energies also pollute the spiritual energy. When I first came here, I wanted to use my spiritual energy to build a protective shield outside. As a result, my spiritual energy was contaminated and could not be recovered at all. At this time, the surroundings were filled with demonic energy. The spiritual energy in Shen Yun's body supported the defensive magic weapon, but it was not consumed very much. It was enough for her to hold on for a while. Further forward is the location of the original Aura Eye. The Aura Eye here is a small pond. It doesn't look like there is much water. Now the color of the water has become black and red. Shen Yun did not go down rashly. He probed tentatively with his spiritual consciousness. There was nothing underneath. Like all Aura Eyes, the aura appeared for no reason. The same performance situation is here. Shen Yun walked around the pond and found nothing. It may be that his cultivation level is not good enough, so he cannot detect the situation here. Neither the books I have read nor the memories I have inherited can help me. After all, the situation here is different from that of the place where Ziobega's parents lived. Take out the non-attribute formation base refined in your own space and place it according to the direction. The sealing formation is specially used to seal demons and ghosts. Shen Yun has never used it before. Since it cannot solve the current situation, he can only seal it and wait until the strength rises to explore the reason here. When Shen Yun set up the formation for the first time, he consumed more spiritual energy than he thought. After the formation was set up, there were tens of thousands of medium-grade spiritual stones missing from the space, and he also took 2 bottles of spirit-boosting pills before the entire formation was covered. Around the entire pond. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Age of Rebirth, the fake daughter relies on cultivation to become bigger and stronger. Author, Laughing Charm. Chapter 356. Chapter 356, 356, we have a special feeling. Calm down the turbulent spiritual energy in the body. Shen Yun then looked at the calm lake. All the evil energy was trapped in the lake, making the lake look darker and redder. In a while, this lake will become a poisonous lake. It is estimated that people who fall in will become demons. They are temporarily sealed here. When they are strong enough, they will have to come and deal with this later. Shen Yun stood on the side and observed for a while. He was relieved when he saw that the demonic energy in the air did not increase. It was the first time that he deployed such a sealing formation. Shen Yun was actually a little unsure, but in the end it worked. Congratulations. Shen Yun felt happy, looked at the demonic energy surrounding him, and began to release the lightning technique in the air unscrupulously. Under the control of Shen Yun, lightning bolts as thick as buckets of water traveled rapidly through the sealed space, spreading towards the distant boundary of the formation. Then Shen Yun smelled a strong odor swarming towards him. It was the smell caused by the demonic energy being consumed by lightning. The people outside could not smell anything at this time. They could only see the crackling lightning in the formation coming from the middle position and quickly moving towards the side. People standing on the side would see such a scene now. He couldn't help but run away from the formation. Something happened inside. People who were still busy heard the thunder and couldn't help but raise their heads and look in that direction. "Sister, my sister is still inside." Shen Jian and the others, who were busy helping out, ignored the wounded they were taking care of and ran directly over there. Farther away in Qujing, they were trying to refine the exorcism pill. They heard some movement outside, and they couldn't keep their minds still. The medicine in the alchemy furnace was burned to ashes, and they couldn't refine it anymore. When I went out, I saw thunder and lightning in the formation. The 3 of them and the Shen family brothers reacted and ran directly over there. "Hey, what are you guys doing? There is a formation that is blocked. If Shen Yun doesn't open it, it will be useless for you to go there now." Zhou Yu and the others came out, and now they have taken on a new mission, which is to protect these few people. "Alchemist, you will hear a few popping sounds inside, and people will rush out and run towards the formation." They were also paying attention to the situation on the other side of the formation, but they had a mission and it was difficult to leave. They saw the mission person rushing over. A few people followed him without thinking. The mission target must be protected. The people beside the formation panicked for a moment, but when they saw that the lightning inside the formation did not come out, their worries were relieved. None of them stopped running away, and all came to the formation to see what was going on inside. Several people from the Shen family were anxiously making a straight hammer formation beside them. "You guys think of a solution quickly, our master is still inside." Zhang Ji had no choice at this time, so he started to look for leaders outside. "Don't worry, we are just thinking of a solution. Principal Shen is so powerful, he must be fine." While arranging things, the person in charge outside did not forget to comfort the few people surrounding him. "Then when will my master come out?" Several people wanted to complain, but seeing that the other party was also very busy, they could only ask politely. "Don't worry, when we find a way, we will definitely get the person out soon. You go and do your own business first, otherwise I will still have to take care of you." The person in charge looked at the 3 alchemists and said, "It cannot be said that commanding other people's homes does not belong to one's own control. Zhang Ji and the other three couldn't find the answer here, so they turned around and looked at the Shen brothers and walked directly over there. Fifth Master Uncle, what should we do? Zhang Ji pulled Shen Jian directly, as if he was willing to do things with him. It's useless to be anxious now. If sister can't do anything, we will go in to deliver food. Let's wait and see. Maybe this lightning was caused by sister. After Shen Jian fainted, he was more rational than before. Now he saw several children in the family looking at him, and his heart, which was a little panicked just now, immediately calmed down. He couldn't panic. If he panicked and did something wrong with these children, then he would even more troublesome. Yes, Master said when I came out, if she can't do it, then we can't do it either, Chu Jing said on the side. Then just wait outside. Shen Xing was as anxious as an ant on a hot pot, and his tone of voice was also a bit bad. Otherwise, do you have a way? Can you, who is a master of formations, open this thing in front of you now? Shen Jian turned to look at Shen Xing. Everyone here was anxious, but this time it was really impossible to do anything without the strength. Go back and find Jin Long. He is better than us, so he should be able to find a way. Shen Yu had a clear idea. He checked the strength of his family members and found that only Jin Long seemed to be able to help now. Okay, I'll go back and look for him. I'm fast. Shen Xing immediately thought this idea was a good one. Shen Yu, you two come together, there will be someone to take care of you on the way. Shen Jian immediately made a decision. Since they couldn't do it, they could only look for Hao Iwan. When people outside were panicking, nothing happened to Chen Yun inside. She controlled the lightning in the entire space. She would penetrate wherever there was magic energy. After half an hour, the smell inside the formation was gone. It smells bad, and there are not many plants left. Of the magic weeds that were still growing, not a single one is left. Although it cost a lot, the success was also remarkable. Shen Yun glanced around. The air that was black and red just now was clear again, and the unpleasant smell in the air had increased a lot. Looking at the seal that was still intact, Shen Yun did not cancel the formation outside, but flew directly towards the outside of the formation. A gap opened in the formation, and the person flew out. From a distance, I saw 3 people flying towards the side. Shen Yun stepped forward to greet him. Xiao Banqi, didn't you go back? Why are you with Shen Xing and Shen Yu? Shen Yun looked at the 3 people with some confusion. Sister, it's great that you're okay. We were all scared to death outside just now, and there was nothing we could do. Shen Xing saw Shen Yun appear in front of him, and the young man who was taller than Shen Yun burst into tears on the spot. Saw it? Look, I told you that there is a special connection between my sister and I. We both said it was fine, but you still want to call me over. Xiao Bengqiao rolled his eyes at the 2 brothers who were not calm. Sister, what's the special connection between you and him? Can you get one for me? It's best to get one for everyone at home, so we don't have to worry. After Shen Xing finished his emotional outburst, he heard a small jump. Saying that, I immediately asked for it. I'm sorry, this can only happen between me and my sister, not you, Xiao Bengqiao said a little proudly. End of this chapter. The Age of Rebirth, the fake daughter relies on cultivation to become bigger and stronger. Author, Laughing Charm. Chapter 357. Why, Shen Xing really doesn't understand this. It makes no sense that his sister can have a special connection with other people, but not between their own siblings. You will know if you read more. There are so many books in the study room at home, so just read more if you have nothing to do, Xiao Banqi said jokingly. It was a joke that he did not study well. Shen Xing decided to study hard when he went back. He would try to get into college in the future and read all the books he could. Sister, just hope you're fine. My brother and the others are waiting below. Let's go over there, otherwise they'll get anxious below. Shen Yu felt relieved when he saw that Shen Yun was fine. Okay, let's go. Shen Yun nodded. She thought Shen Jian and the others were worried about what would happen to them inside for so long. They had no idea that the noise they made inside scared people. As soon as we got down there, everyone we knew and didn't know gathered around us. Everyone asked with concern whether everything was okay. It's okay. Although Shen Yun was puzzled, he still replied after seeing everyone coming over to care about him. As long as everything is fine, you can't save us, and something happened to you. Hearing what Shen Yun said, everyone felt relieved. They saw that the Shen family members were all around, and they were no longer surrounding them. They just did whatever they needed to do. What did you do? The person in charge, who was busy gathering people to discuss how to get the person out, breathed a sigh of relief when he saw Shen Chenayun coming out, and suddenly sat on the chair next to him. This sudden attack really tested his body's endurance. Master, what happened to you inside just now? Why are there so many thunder and lightnings? We are all worried to death, and we are still thinking about how we can go in and save you. Zhang Ji asked with concern. You said that the thunder in the formation just now was made by me to consume the magic energy. Look, there is no magic energy in it now, but the things inside have been almost destroyed. Only then did Shen Yun know what happened. What are you personally worried about? A few concerned people then remembered that Shen Yun said that thunder and lightning can eliminate evil spirits, but was the thunder and lightning that destroyed the world just now really caused by humans? This incident once again made several people realize the difference between the foundation building stage and the golden elixir stage, and each of them became more determined to practice. Sister, you are so powerful. Shen Xing heard Shen Yun say this and was very proud. The thunder and lightning that everyone was afraid of was caused by his sister. It was really powerful. You will be so powerful in the future. I'm fine. You've all dispersed. Do whatever you need to do. I'll go talk to them. Shen Yun pointed at the person in charge over there and said. Okay, Master, let's go over to make alchemy. The three apprentices left first. Except for Shen Xing, who followed Shen Yun, the Shen family brothers all went to do their own business. Xiao Banqi said to Shen Yun, also went back to the mountain to take charge. Shen Yun glanced at the person following him who was unwilling to leave. Okay, you can follow me for now. Okay. Sister Shen Xing, who had not planned to leave at first, became even more happy when he heard Shen Yun say this. He is a tall man of 1.8 meters, and he looks like a stupid man when he is happy. Follow Shen Yun and walk towards the person in charge over there. The movement you made inside just now really scared the people outside. How are you? Are you okay? The person in charge also knew Shen Yun. When he saw Shen Yun coming over, he pointed to the chair next to him and motioned for her to sit down and talk. It's not easy to spread the news inside, so I took action on my own. I didn't expect to scare you. It's okay. I just used lightning to consume the magic energy inside. I have already sealed the aura eye in the middle. I don't know why. The aura eyes that were supposed to emit aura now emit demonic energy. Shen Yun told him the situation inside. Has the seal been solved? This is really the first time that the other party has encountered something that needs to be sealed. If no one moves, it will be solved, but the demonic energy will still continue to be generated there, but it can't come out. It is still a hidden danger there, and we still have to find a way to solve it in the future. Shen Yun did not give him any advice. The answer is yes. The person in charge thought about the increasing amount of demonic energy that is gathering. It is difficult to solve now. It will be even more difficult to solve in the future. Think about the rescued people infected by the demonic energy who still have no solution. Everyone had a headache. Isn't it true that thunder and lightning can consume magic energy? Look, let's directly connect electricity inside and use electricity to consume some magic energy. This way, even if we deal with it in the future, it won't be so difficult, the person in charge thought. I thought of using technology to solve it. I really haven't thought about this. Shen Yun was stunned for a moment. She was used to using cultivation methods to solve these things, but now that she heard what the other party said, it seemed to be very reliable. After all, the thunder and lightning emitted by the spell, and the nature of the electricity generated by power generation is the same. One is science and the other is cultivation. This is really a magical collision. Maybe if we are ready, we can experiment someday. Okay, then I will inform people to prepare for the experiment. Even if it cannot be completely solved, use up the demonic energy a little, so that we will have less trouble in the future. The person in charge got Shen Yun's approval and immediately found someone to conduct the experiment vigorously and resolutely. This happened. Sister, where are we going now? Shen Xing looked at Shen Yun motionless for a long time and asked curiously. Don't go anywhere, protect me. I've consumed too much spiritual energy inside. I need to recover. She consumed too much spiritual energy inside, and that burst of thunder and lightning almost consumed all the spiritual energy in her body. If it weren't for there are so many spirit stones in the space that flying back would probably be a problem. Okay, Shen Xing agreed without thinking. In the past, this job was not his turn in the mountains. There were formations in the mountains, and then there were parents. They all stood aside. Now Shen Yun, he is very active when given something to do. Following Shen Yun's command, a spirit gathering formation was set up next to Shen Yun, and then he held a sword to protect the law. As for Shen Yun himself, he has already begun to meditate and practice. The spiritual energy in his dantian has been exhausted many times. The spiritual energy in the air is like a dry sponge meeting water, constantly sucking it into his body. Shen Xing saw the spiritual energy around Shen Yun swirling towards her body. After a while, no one with strong spiritual energy could see her anymore. What's going on? Everyone who was idle nearby saw the movement on Shen Yun's side. It's okay, it's okay. You are busy with your business. My sister is practicing. She was tired inside just now. She will replenish her spiritual energy. Shen Xing quickly stopped the onlookers from approaching. No, this doesn't look like ordinary cultivation with so much spiritual energy, it looks like I'm about to advance, someone muttered in a low voice. The age of rebirth, the fake daughter relies on cultivation to become bigger and stronger. Author, Laughing Charm. Chapter 358. Chapter 358, 358, Promotion. Shen Yun, who started practicing, also felt something was wrong. The speed at which the spiritual energy came in was different from what he usually felt when practicing. It was pouring into him like a swarm of swarms. The dry dantian was quickly filled up. At this time, the aura around Shen Yun was like a tornado, spinning around Shen Yun. What happened again? The person in charge, who had just left for a few minutes, ran back immediately when he saw such a movement. Then he saw a circle around it, and he did not dare to get close to the tornado. My sister is inside and seems to be advancing, Shen Xing said hesitantly. Promoted, the person in charge was so shocked when he heard this that his mouth opened wide. If I remember correctly, this girl just took leave for seclusion a few months ago and was promoted. It seems that it has only been a few days since she left seclusion. Now she is about to be promoted again. While he was happy for the other party in his heart, he also felt that the comparison between people was irritating. He had been promoted half a year ago, and it had been so long, but there was no movement at all. Which level will your sister be promoted to? The other party asked curiously. My sister was a golden elixired Dzogchen before, and she will probably be promoted to nascent soul now. Shen Xing was also a little panicked. He really didn't know what to do. The protector should just watch from the side. Nascent soul, the person in charge was also shocked by the answer he got from this casual question. There is a thunder disaster in Yuanying, hurry up and evacuate the personnel. The person in charge is not in the mood to stay here now. There are many people coming here to support, plus the injured people rescued from the Aura Eye. The people who came out of it are temporarily isolated here. When they come back in nascent soul thunder tribulation, if you think about it, you will know that this thing is definitely not simple. It is recorded in the book that when a thunder tribulation occurs, people near the thunder tribulation will be counted, and the number of thunder will increase accordingly. He does not know how far away it is, but within 500 meters, there are hundreds of people. If these people are included, it is estimated that the thunderstorm that descended could level this place to the ground and make a big hole. Looking at the appearance of the tornado and the rapidly gathering clouds in the sky, he did not dare to delay at all and quickly called people to evacuate the place to ensure the safety of the personnel and Shen Yun. What's going on? The people nearby were stunned by this shout. Why should they evacuate again? Now they have settled down. Hurry up, the people from the Special Department and Supervision Department moved to the isolation point quickly. He didn't bother to go into details at the meeting, and just walked away, greeting people at the same time. In an instant, the whole place became busy again. The thunder wave in the formation just now could not reach them, but this is not necessarily the case now. What's going on? Why has sister been promoted now? Xiao Bengqiye, who had just walked not far away, saw the 100-meter high spiritual energy tornado here, and called out to Hong Chenayun in her heart, only to know that Shen Yun was going to be promoted now. Unexpectedly before him, he quickly turned around and came back. I don't know either. Sister, she just said she wanted to practice and asked me to protect her. Then she continued to practice and it became like this. Shen Xing quickly explained the situation to Xiao Bengqiye. Xiao Bengtao looked at the people around him who were hurriedly evacuating, and then looked at the speed at which the clouds were gathering every day. Sister, how are you doing now? Can you move your position? The clouds are gathering too fast, and the thunder tribulation may come down at some time. Well, the people here probably didn't transfer so quickly. Xiao Benqi contacted Shen Yun directly in his mind. Okay, you just open a crack in the formation in front, and I'll go to the aura eye over there to overcome the calamity. Shen Yun endured the pain in his dantian and suppressed his rapidly rising cultivation level. Okay, I'll do it now. Xiao Bengqiao started to take action immediately. It is much faster to move alone than to move all these people together. When Xiao Bengjia informed Shen Yun that the formation had been opened, she immediately entered the formation with the tornado, and the people nearby who were moving away at a faster speed were shocked. Is this okay? Everyone was a little confused as to whether they should leave now. This was the first time they had seen Lei Ji, and they wanted to take a closer look. Tell them to keep moving. The formation should be as large as possible and as far away as possible. Xiao Bengqiao closed the formation and said to Shen Jian, who was rushing over. Okay, Shen Jian responded and immediately went to do things. Although Xiao Benqi was smaller than them, his strength was there, and the Shen family didn't believe what he said. Xiao Bengtao looked at the tribulation clouds gathering towards the formation and walked away. He couldn't help her with the thunder tribulation and could only rely on his sister. People outside did not need to move long distances anymore, and the speed became faster. However, the news that Shen Yun was going to survive the tribulation spread quickly. For a while, many people gathered in this little-known small city to find someone who could do it themselves. When I saw this place, but far away, there were people with cameras and other things taking pictures. I had never seen anyone else survive the tribulation before. Shen Yun gave everyone a chance to accumulate experience this time. The thunder clouds in the sky are getting thicker and thicker, as if they are about to be pressed down. Shen Yun's spiritual energy has also been gathered, and he is waiting for the thunderstorm to fall from the sky at any time. This time, the thunder tribulation came earlier than I expected. I thought it would still be a year and a half away, but I didn't know it was coming now. Some of the things needed for the thunder tribulation were not prepared, and the elixirs were also exhausted. Young master, it seems that this thunderstorm can only be resisted by one's own body. The results of such a long period of body refining and the effect of blood purification must be verified this time. The air pressure in the sky was getting lower and lower. Shen Yun set up several protective formations for himself. Yuanying's thunder tribulation was not comparable to Jin Dan's thunder tribulation. Not only was it large in quantity, but it was also not simple in quality. Shen Yun, there was no such big movement during the last golden elixir. I took inventory of the elixirs in my space. There were many elixirs such as foundation building pills and Yuan pills. I had already consumed several bottles of spirit replenishing pills before, so I only had 3 pitiful bottles left now. Last time Lei Ji consumed a defensive magic weapon, and this time there was still one left. Shen Yun thought for a while and put it into the space, and then took it out for use when necessary. There are still some magic weapons in the space. They are all ordinary magic weapons or some very precious magic weapons. The ordinary ones are of little use. The precious Shen Yun has not planned to use it yet, so the current situation is between himself and Qing Cheng. The front is facing the next situation. Time passed by minute, and the sky became dark, but the clouds in the sky were still gathering. God, I didn't do anything bad, and I saved a lot of people. Do these thick thunder clouds want to chop me into pieces? Shen Yun looked up at the looming thunder in the sky, and couldn't help but sigh. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Age of Rebirth, the fake daughter relies on cultivation to become bigger and stronger. Author, Laughing Charm. Chapter 359. Chapter 359, 359, Thunder Tribulation. After sighing, continue practicing. The more spiritual energy you have in your body, the more stable you will be when you can withstand thunder tribulations in the future. She sat steadily in the formation and practiced, while the people outside looked on anxiously. Many people were afraid of the sudden thunder disaster and did not find a place to eat or sleep. They only ate the dry food they brought with them in places they liked. Find someone who knows water magic to get some water to drink. Even at night, no one went back to sleep for fear of missing this big scene. The next day, there was still no thunderstorm, the sky was covered with clouds, and the sun even came out and missed its face. Could this be a mistake? Why is there still no movement? The person in charge, who was looking at the situation with Xiao Banqi and Yan Han and others who came from the capital city, discussed it together. This is also a normal situation. Some people's thunder tribulation will take 10 days and a half to come down. Don't worry. Among the group of people, Xiao Bengqiao was the calmest. He sat on the chair and slowly ate his food. Snacks in the bag. Yes. Is there anyone else who has passed through the thunder tribulation? Everyone's eyes turned to Xiao Banqi. Of course, that person is me. Xiao Banqi looked at everyone's eyes and suddenly thought that this was not the world in his inheritance. With an idea, he pointed directly at himself. What level are you at now? Everyone has been curious about this question for a long time, and this time, I finally asked it out. Golden Elixir Dzogchen is about to be promoted to Nascent Soul. It is estimated that it will only take a few days. Xiao Banqi calmly dropped a thunder in the crowd. Everyone looked at the little Penki, who was sitting there eating snacks and shaking his legs. He was probably only as tall as their waist. Everyone couldn't help but feel a little autistic. It depends on Shen Yun's condition. Why do you talk too much and ask others? Asking is to be better than yourself. It's only been these few days for you. Which days are these? Do you feel anything now? They won't rush together. Why don't you find a secluded place to hide, or you'll give us a pot again later? Broken. Others are paying attention to Shen Yun's situation, but Zhang Min is more interested in Xiao Banqi. Don't worry, my sister is in an emergency. If I want to advance, I will definitely feel it, Xiao Bengqiye said with certainty. That's good, that's good. By the way, what are you eating? Jiangmin sat next to the little jumper and asked curiously as he saw that he was eating deliciously. Lotus seed. Xiao Bengqiao glanced at the thing in his hand, then looked at Jiangmin who was looking at him eagerly, and directly stuffed the 2 remaining lotus seeds into his mouth, making his cheeks bulge. No more, finished eating. Xiao Banqi spread his hands to show Jiang Mi, and this lotus seed was the green lotus in his sister's space. He also planted one in his Fengjia realm, but there were still very few lotus seeds. Except for the ones his sister took out to make elixirs, they basically all went into him. His mouth was filled with food, and he was reluctant to let anyone else eat it. Okay, if it's gone, it's gone. When Jiangmin saw the little kid bouncing around, he turned to look at the clouds in the sky. He didn't want to be accused of trying to the child's food. There's something moving, Xiao Bengqiao suddenly said. Where is it? When Jiangmin heard this, he immediately stood up and looked into the distance. It's not my sister who has made any noise, it's me. I'm going to take a step ahead. Goodbye. As he said this, the little jumper also jumped out. What's going on? Looking at Xiao Banqi walking away, several people looked at Jiangmin. He said he had something going on. What's going on? Jiangmin thought for a while, then looked at the calamity clouds in the sky in the distance. That's bad. This kid Feng Jinlong is also going to advance to Yuanying. If he leaves here now, he's afraid of dragging us down, Jiang Min said suddenly. What should we do? Where did the people go? Several people looked at the little Banqi who had already flown out of sight, and could only quickly notify people in other places to see if there was any thunder disaster. At this time, Shen Yun, who was preparing to survive the tribulation, also received the news about Xiao Banqi. Thinking that the reincarnation prepared for Xiao Banqi in the space was not yet ready, Chen Yun was very anxious. Although the mythical beast is powerful, cultivation it seems to be uniquely blessed by nature, but the thunder tribulation is also much more powerful than that of humans. As Shen Yun became anxious, he felt the thunder clouds in the sky move. Thunder disaster is coming. Shen Yun couldn't move even if he wanted to, so he could only settle down and survive his thunder disaster. Thunder and lightning were rolling in the sky, and the sky was getting darker a little bit. The people watching felt terrified, and they were all even more nervous than Shen Yun. Shen Yun, who was sitting there, was really not too nervous now. After waiting for more than a day, he finally came. When the first thunderstorm came down, it was blocked by the formation above, and then it tore apart the formation and struck directly towards Shen Yun like a bamboo. In the first thunderbolt, Shen Yun did not make any obstruction. The moment the thunder split on his body, Shen Yun felt that his whole body was numb. But there was really no other damage, and the strength of his body was much stronger than he thought. The body refining technique that had not been upgraded for a long time suddenly reached a new level at this moment. Shen Yun used to think about how the body refining technique had become inactive even after reaching the golden elixir stage. Only now did he realize that it would be better to use thunder and lightning to temper the body. Since this is the case, Shen Yun is more confident about the coming thunder disaster. Those thunder tribulations struck down one after another. Shen Yun caught the first few with ease, but the next ones became faster and faster. Shen Yun's body's digestion ability was not that strong. Hurriedly recited a spell to activate the protective formation around him. Shen Yun's situation looks very bad now. The protective formation around him has been smashed to pieces, and his original appearance can no longer be seen. He relies on a sword and 56 thunder tribulations. There are still 3 more. Can you hold on? People watching from a distance will be nervous. This lightning has been striking for more than a day, leaving no one a chance to breathe. It is estimated that if they themselves were dead, they would be gone. Shen Yun looked very scary from the outside, with blood pouring out, but in fact it was not as serious as it looked. Her body had been purified by blood, and her strength was much stronger than that of ordinary people. This would only cause skin trauma. But looking at the last 3 thunders that were lingering in the sky, Shen Yun knew that there was still a big move waiting for him in the end. Taking advantage of this little time, I took out all the usable things in the space and ate everything that was edible, waiting for the final thunderstorm. The people watching around him also held their breath. Shen Yun was well prepared, but the last 3 thunder tribulations were different from what he had imagined. Not only were they much smaller, but he also felt that the thunder clouds in the sky were dissipating. Shen Yun calmly endured the last 3 thunder tribulations, feeling the rich spiritual energy after the thunder tribulation. The wounds on his body were also repairing quickly. His cultivation gradually stabilized at the early stage of nascent soul. At this moment, Shen Yun still felt a little unreal. It feels like this thunderstorm has passed, and it doesn't seem to be fatal. End of this chapter. The Age of Rebirth, the fake daughter relies on cultivation to become bigger and stronger. Author, Laughing Charm. Chapter 360. Looking at the little meditating figure in his danchan, with distinct facial features, he was clearly a smaller version of himself. The birth of the baby was successful, although the final thunder tribulation felt a bit anticlimactic. Shen Yun stood up after feeling that his injuries were almost healed. At this move, everyone watching outside was shocked, and then there was a burst of cheers, as if Shen Yun had succeeded, and they were happier than themselves. Shen Yun stood where he was and could hear the cheers coming from far away. As my cultivation level increases, my current spiritual consciousness has also increased, my abilities in all aspects have increased, and I can hear sounds farther away. Shen Yun turned around and looked around. This time, the noise was a bit loud and he was in the city, so the onlookers stood in a circle. Although they were far away, they could still see the faintly rubbing figures. Shen Yun was not in a hurry to go out, but walked towards the small lake not far away. He didn't dare to be on the edge of the lake at that time, because he was afraid that Laze would blow up the seal, and he would go over and take a look. The seal is still intact, but the thunderstorm still has an impact here. The originally black-red lake water has become a little clearer after being struck by more than 50 thunders. This is good news. However, thunder split the outer formation into pieces. In order to prevent someone from approaching and destroying the seal, the outer formation still needs to be put up. Walked around and found that there was no problem with the seal for the time being. Shen Yun turned around and flew outside. After this tossing, the spiritual stones in his own space were basically consumed, and he needed to be replenished by the above before setting up the formation. Look, Shen Yun is back. The people here had already seen Shen Yun's figure, and they were there in an instant. Congratulations, congratulations! The voices one after another rang loudly when Shen Yun came over. Shen Yun fell directly from the sky and thanked everyone. Then he walked straight towards the Shen family and Yan Han. Sister, you are back. The golden dragon is about to advance. I don't know where it has flown. My brother and the others have gone to look for me, leaving me here waiting for you. Shen Xing became anxious when he saw Shen Yun coming. Came over and said, I already know this. I'll be there in a moment. Don't worry, Shen Yun reassured. Okay. Hearing Shen Yun say this, Shen Xing's heart was relieved. This lightning strike is really scary. How is it, are the wounds on your body healed? Zhang Min had a more out-of-the-box personality and came over to ask directly. Well, the birth of a baby has just been successful, and the injuries on the body are healed. This thing just looks a little scary. Shen Yun looked at himself, and he was really embarrassed. If he hadn't used magic to cover it up, he wouldn't have been able to do it now. When meeting someone, he said, I'll clean up first and I'll tell you something later. It was okay if I didn't pay attention just now. Now Shen Yun just wants to go over and change clothes. Okay, we'll wait for you here. Yan Han nodded. Shen Yun didn't waste much time. He found a place to change clothes and hurried over again. It's about the formation. The formation outside was shattered by lightning just now. I set up a seal inside. If someone goes in and destroys the seal, the demonic energy will come out again, so the formation outside still needs to be repaired, but before my spiritual stone consumption is too high. If I want to set up a large formation this time, I may need support from above. Shen Yun got straight to the point and expressed his meaning directly. There's no problem with this. If you need anything, just tell us and we can help. A few people responded directly. They wouldn't have time to report to the superiors, but if they all agreed, there would be no problem. Okay, let's hurry up. I'll go over to see the situation at Jinlong later. Shen Yun walked directly towards that side. Okay, tell me about the materials. We have everything we have with us. Use them first. If there are not enough, bring them over as soon as possible. Yan Han immediately started arranging things. Piecing together, after 10 minutes, everything was put together. Chen Yun began to arrange people to set up the formation. Everyone who could be used was used. The formation base he had prepared before was used up. Now he could only rely on people to set up a little formation. Fortunately, there were more people and more strength, so he was jumping around. Before the thunder tribulation, Shen Yun successfully sealed the area just now. The next time you open it, it's probably time to experiment with technological methods to see if the magic gas tube doesn't work. Shen Yun was ready to rush towards Xiao Bengqiye. Let's go there together, the news has spread now. Yan Han and the others stopped Shen Yun. The movement of the nascent soul thunder tribulation was not small. Before anyone noticed it, the satellites in the sky noticed that the clouds were gathering quickly. Coupled with the news from the people below, this combination made it immediately clear where Xiao Bengqiye was. Okay, let's go then. Shen Yun did not refuse. Even if they were not with him, they would probably rush over if they knew about it. Yan Hanzhang, Min Liangshan, the four of them, plus Shen Xing and Shen Yun, the 6 people in the group moved very quickly. Under the leadership of Shen Yun, they flew directly towards Xiao Bengqiye. Little Bank felt that the thunder tribulation was coming. He was afraid that the thunder tribulation would come down at any time, so he did not look far away. He directly found a deep mountain and chose a suitable place to start to overcome the thunder tribulation. It was difficult to walk in the mountains, so there weren't many people watching. Some of the more powerful people flew over directly to watch. By the time Shen Yun and the others arrived, Lei Ji had already accumulated enough energy. Xiao Benga, I'm here. I'll give you the spirit stones. You can go through the tribulation with ease. Shen Yun directly communicated with Xiao Benga, then took a storage bag filled with spirit stones and threw it over with spiritual energy control. Little Benki didn't say anything. He nodded directly in the direction of Shen Yun and went all out to deal with the thunder and lightning. It feels really different to watch others go through the thunder tribulation and go through it by yourself, especially when the person sitting over there is his partner. Shen Yun feels more nervous than when he went through the tribulation by himself just now. The thunder light struck down, and Chen Yun's I can't help but mention it. Little Benki himself is a phoenix, and the strength of his blood and muscles is not comparable to that of humans, so his movements did not change even after more than a dozen thunders were fired. Is Jinlong's thunder calamity weaker than yours? The people next to him were a little confused. It's stronger than mine, but the golden dragon itself is stronger than me. Shen Yun directly rejected the other party's idea. Better than you. Several people nearby were a little surprised by this answer. Yes, so he can deal with thunder tribulation much more calmly than me. His thunder tribulation is much stronger than mine. Shen Yun looked at Xiao Bengqiye intently. After dozens of thunder tribulations, it was a bit difficult for Xiao Bengqiye. He has some formation bases prepared by Chen Yun for him to prevent this kind of situation from happening. He took them out now. In addition, he can also access the things in Fenjiao at any time. In the second half of the thunder tribulation, he looked better than Shen Yun just now. At this moment, Several people nearby also believed what Shen Yun said about Xiao Benqi being better than her.